Thank you, Zoom. Okay. You surprised I'm doing it today? Yeah, I don't know when to stop. So that's like one of my key phrases. We ride it till the wheels fall off, right? Okay, so Persephone is all about the alchemy of choice. Persephone is also known by the name of Kore, Kore. Prior to her taking by Hades, and I say taking because he saw her, he wanted her, he took her. And there is a school of thought that Hecate watched it all go down. She stood from a distance and watched it through the liminal, and it was like, this is happening. How's it going to happen? Look at that shit. Look what just happened. So Hecate had a sense of responsibility watching this according to the folklore. And so you have Demeter and Persephone, Demeter being basically the idealistic Mother Nature icon, and Persephone being the goddess of grain and harvest. Okay. And so she was this beautiful, gorgeous creature that during the turns of the season, there was a festival to honor both she and Demeter to be praised. And she was known as Kore at this point. So Kore and Demeter were basically your earth girls. So if you would look at them in your modern day stereotypes, they were love and lighters. They did nothing but work with the earth and praise the earth and work in the earth and work for the harvest and maintain with people. And this was their philosophy. Hades saw her. He wanted her. He took her. And Hecate went to Demeter after this happened, after Demeter had exhausted herself, was drowning the earth, and everything was dying because her daughter was gone and she could not focus. I mean, there were no milk cartons in ancient Greece. So how do you find your daughter? A god took her. It's not like she knew where she went. She doesn't know where her daughter is. She's missing in action. So Hecate is like, "Hi, I know where your daughter is." And she's like, "What?" And she went to Zeus to implore him, "Please bring my daughter back." Well, Hades found out this was going on. And he's like, "Here, Kore, have some of this." And he handed her this forbidden fruit. And she ate the pomegranate seeds. And the rest, they say, is history. Now she is the ruler of hell along Hades' side. Some people say a third of the year. Some people say 6 months of the year. There's two different thought processes in this. But at that time that she took those seeds, she made a choice. She knew it was something she wasn't supposed to have. She knew it wasn't something she was to do, but she made the choice. And it is said that Hecate held the torch for Demeter in the night to find her daughter in the underworld. That is the school of thought. That is how this presents, and that is how people know the story. What I'm going to implore you to do is to look at Persephone a little differently. I want you to look at Persephone in the eyes of Sandy from Greece. So you have Sandra D, innocent, blonde little girl who finds a greaser. And then she turns into Sandy, cigarette smoking, leather pants wearing, in charge of herself, for lack of a better word, hussy. Okay? Persephone and Kore are the duality of light and dark. And in this existence, she found her power in her shadow. When she went below, she became, in essence, the equal of her mother. Her mother had power, her mother had grace, her mother had authority, and her mother had respect. She did as well, but she was the second place of her mother everywhere she went above ground. So going to the underworld, eating this fruit with Hades, do you think for 1 minute this girl didn't know what those seeds meant? And for the way I want you all to understand this, the seeds that Hades gave her, the pomegranate is a euphemism. He had sex with her. That's why she was there. Okay. She knew she wasn't supposed to be having sex with Big Daddy Hades. Okay. She wasn't stupid. She knew that was a choice that would alter her lifestyle. Just like, when you get involved with things, it will alter your lifestyle. It will change your direction. Choices change who you are. When you go from the path, you pay the wrath. That was what my grandmother always explained to me. When you veer from the path, you pay the wrath. There's always a price. And she was right. There's consequences. So when you're looking at these questions that I want you to ponder with each goddess, and I'm not going to tell you what to think. I want to walk you through this so you get the understanding of what is going on here. Okay? This program is not me vomiting out all this information to you. This program is you examining what this goddess means to you. That is the beauty of exploring this. Okay? So, who is she? Who is she to you? What do you see with her? When I look at her, I see Sandy from Greece. That is my realization with her. Okay. My pop culture reference is her. What are the details of her character before the alchemy happened? And then how did her alchemy impact her? These two details can go hand in hand. These two questions work together with each other. The details of her character, all these details. And then when she made the choice, how did it change her? What was the positive and what was the negative of that impact? Are you brave enough? Are you strong enough? Are you willing to utilize this kind of alchemy in your life? Are you willing to make hard choices? Are you willing to disappoint maternal and paternal figures in your life to make changes for yourself? Maternal and paternal people don't necessarily mean your mom and dad. They mean authoritative elder figures in your life that hold you to a level of delivery. These are people who expect this of you. These are people, when you do things, they go, oh, I'm not upset with you. I'm disappointed. That would be one of those people. Okay. So when you're looking at people that you tend to please, these are people that would use the line with you, oh, I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed. Then, what is the shadow of making this choice? What is the consequence of you putting this alchemy into effect in your life? If you start making choices and people don't like them, there will be consequences. There will be people who no longer want you in their lives because of choices you have made. And what kind of spell work is Persephone useful to you in? Okay. All these thinking points that I gave you, how did the relationship with Demeter hasten her choice? Whom did Persephone rely upon when making her choice? What aspect of her was changed with the choice? Did she fear the impact of making the choice? How did the change metamorphose in her? And how would you like to use this? All these questions are for you to think about and you to answer. The reason we're in this situation is I'm going to put up a prompt after this talk. You all can go in there and be like, okay, so this is how I felt about this. What do you think? And this is a sharing area. What I may do is do a small chat area so I can include the women that weren't able to get in under the exclusive post that you guys can talk. When I say chat, I might do a little group because I know the chats get out of control. So I want you to have this sounding board area where we can write the question and you can say, okay, this is what it meant to me. And this is what it meant to me. Because the beauty of a circle, the beauty of a group class is you will look at things in a different way. I'm sure none of you ever looked at Persephone like Sandy from Greece. Totally different analogy. And that's how I see her. But you may see her in a very different way. Some people see her as an imprisoned structure, Cinderella. The act of defiance where she went against the evil stepmother and stepped out and became her own person. Everybody has a different way of looking at alchemy because everybody will manifest alchemy in a different way. Alchemy is how you process magic, not how I process it, not how the next person processes it, how you process it. And part of being a magical worker, I don't care if you're druid, I don't care if it's witchcraft, I don't care if it's Norse, I don't care what it is. The way you go about your work will change the effectiveness of your magic. If you are an unbalanced practitioner, you will render uneven magic. I have contact with people all the time and they're like, oh, I manifest so hard. And I always come up short because there's something in them blocking it. There's something in them that feels not worthy of receiving that. Oh, I'm not going to get it anyway, so why bother? How many times have I heard people say this? Oh, it's not going to come through for me, so why bother trying? I've gotten countless applications for the Earthbound Goddess. I know you're not going to pick me, but I'm going to try anyway. Do you think a lack of confidence is attractive? It's not attractive to circles. It's not attractive to employers. It's not attractive to spiritual partners. It's not attractive to romantic partners. You need to believe in yourself. You have to admit, being the goddess of grain and harvest was pretty damn good, but she knew there was more. It came upon her in a different kind of way. It always does. Everybody says, well, you know, she always steps in shit and comes up smelling like a rose. That's because she goes into the shit, finds a place to grow, and rebores herself. Bad things can happen and you can turn them into amazing things. It happens every day. Life happens. What happens after that point is up to you. You have to take this alchemy of choice. You need to work through it. You need to ponder it and you need to write on it. That's why I said 2 weeks isn't going to be enough for this class. These are a lot of questions. You're going to feel really exhausted. You're going to feel really out of sorts. You're going to feel really overworked and you're going to feel really confused. Work through each one and give yourself time to look at it. Also keep in mind, don't overanalyze everything. Sometimes a choice is a choice. Sometimes a pomegranate is a pomegranate. Sometimes a bad guy is a bad guy. Some of you fall in love with potential. You fall in love with potential in books, in opportunities, in people, in the next best thing. Potential will get you nowhere. It is a ball of energy waiting to be moved. And if you are not controlling that ball of energy in that person or subject, you have no control of how it manifests. Keep that in mind. The only potential you have control over is your own. The only choices you have control over are your own. As powerful as you think you are, you're not going to make other people do things. So contemplate that. People with controlling personalities that want to own everything, know everything, have everything the way they want it, they are fairly pissed off 80% of the time. Because there is this 20% of the population that goes, fuck you, I'm not doing it. Nope, not going to do it. I don't care how many times you tell me to do it that way, I'm not going to do it that way. Because there's always a defiant fraction. Because that is their choice. They choose to be difficult, just like a toddler. A toddler knows if they don't put their shoes on a certain way, their feet are going to hurt. Do they fucking care? No. Because they want their feet to look like they're going the wrong way because it's so cool. Guess what? There's a lot of adults walking around with a toddler mentality. I hope you're not one of them. Because you could only swim against the stream so long until you die. The salmon is a classic example of that. There are some things you have to go your way, do it your way, and move through. Hills aren't always worth dying on. Make your choice for you, not others, and what feels good for you. Because at the end of the day, when you go to bed at night, you're the one that has to look in the mirror, not other people. My husband has been harping on me for 5 weeks about my blue hair. He hated my blue hair. Hated it. The key of this blue hair was, let me clue you in on something. This hair was not supposed to last more than a week. The girl that colored my hair, oh, it won't last more than a week. It'll wash out, semi-permanent. I colored my hair brown and it is still fucking blue. So, when you think a choice you make won't last, it will stick around to fucking remind you that it is resilient. I colored my hair because I was sick of the blue hair. Not him, me. So when you make a choice for yourself and things still turn out an opposite way, maybe it just wasn't the time. It wasn't in your journey today. It is not in my journey to not have blue hair currently, I guess. So we roll with it. You have to learn that when you make a choice, it was the choice you were comfortable making, and be comfortable with it. Because you will constantly go back, try to revisit it, and correct it. And that happens. The only thing you can take from that is next time I will not make that choice. Unfortunately, ladies, life is a series of bad decisions that we learn from each and every day. Once in a while, you get lucky and pick a winner. So that is what I have for you on Persephone. I'm not going to bore you with every one of these goddesses and talks. I am going to share some Persephone information. Are you ready? Now listen where I'm going to share it, okay? So there's no confusion. I'm going to share it in the Ritual Hub because I think these women need that as well. They need this Persephone. I'm going to share a documentary that I laid on the couch this morning with 103 fever and watched documentaries on Persephone, Hecate, and the Pendleton witches. Does that tell you what I do in my spare time? Yeah. And I think I learned more sleeping in my fevered state than I have in a long time. So I'm going to put these up there and they can take a look at them and they can learn her story because I think her story needs told. It is the time of year. I mean, you all should be on the lookout for Hades. He might be lurking around the corner to grab you. If he offers me Little Debbie Christmas cakes and hot chocolate, I will be following him and you will all be on your own. I'm sorry. I will be going to take my throne. Sorry, not coming back. So, but I want you all to look at these questions and seriously ponder them. We're going to have space to share. I'm going to be in the process of setting that up later today. Every time I run an event, it asks me if I want to start a group. What the fuck? Let's start a group, right? What's another group? It'll only be for this class. After this class, we'll delete everybody out and we'll get rid of the group. Okay? Make sense? Everybody go with that? Okay. So if you have any questions, now's the time to ask them.
Hi.
Hi, Lucy.
Is there some books you can recommend about dark goddesses as a general, or Persephone, or any of the ones?
Okay, so I love this book. This is by Patricia Monaghan. It's called The Goddess Path. This was a one-off book I found at a shop. It's myths, invocations, and rituals. So it goes over tons of different goddesses. This has a great one on Persephone. So it starts with Gaia and abundance, Athena and strength, Hera and dignity, and goes through all these different goddesses. And the thing I love about this is when she covers Demeter, she automatically covers Persephone. She groups them together because, contrary to public belief, people think that Persephone and Demeter might have been the same person. So there is a school of thought with the trifold goddess concept that Demeter, Persephone, and Kore were a mother, maiden, crone conversation. Okay. So then there's also that Demeter is one face of Hecate, Persephone is one face of Hecate, and Hecate is a face of Hecate because Demeter being the mother, Kor being the maiden, and Hecate being the crone, leading her to find Persephone. Okay. So there are 1,001 rabbit holes you can fall down with Persephone. Another great book I have about Persephone is called Aspecting the Goddess by Jennifer Daly. And I love that. It's not all about Persephone, but it takes her out and pulls her in and gives you that rapid fire concept of all aspects of the goddess. So when you look back at the structure of the goddess, she's really a Frankenstein's bride of a woman. She has all these attributes from other women put into her. If you were going to envision the perfect goddess, you would envision Hecate's torch and Artemis's bow and, you know, Medusa's snakes, because this all, if you look at these goddesses, they all intertwined. It happens in druidry and it happens in witchcraft, because what people are not understanding, that druidry and witchcraft are two different practices. Witchcraft is based in the Greece, Roman pantheon area, personally, and druidry is the Anglo-Saxon belief system. So they're two different aspects, but they all share this same underlying tones. Sorry, I didn't mean to get scholarly for a minute, but that's how this all works. But you have to know a little bit about all of them. You can't be a connoisseur of goddess information. You have to be willing to whore yourself out and go to different places and different books and different areas to learn what you want to learn. So, you know, it's kind of like a buffet. You take what you want, you learn the basics, and you make, this is going to blow your mind. Are you ready? You make your own decisions on who a fucking goddess is to you. Okay? There's not, and you're going to have the gatekeepers going, no, this is what she is, and this is what she does, and this is who you use her for. I'm not you, and you're not me. We do things totally different. And it is not right, and it is not wrong. It is different, but equal. So when you're looking at books, I would really advise that. I love Otherworldly Oracle online for information, and Moody Moons. I use Moody Moons extensively. The Irish Pagan School is fantastic. There are so many resources that I use. I try to share them with you guys when I do the shares and groups, so you see who I reference. There is a fantastic, she uses Pinterest a lot, but she's called The Peculiar Brunette, and The Witch of Lupin Hollow. Her stuff is phenomenal. And I can't say enough about Amy Chisari. The shit Amy Chisari pushes out is very elementary, but it's so informational. Her guidebooks for every year. I'm in the process of toting mine around like a little kid with a Christmas toy right now. My planner goes everywhere with me with my box of special colored pencils. My daughter says the other day, can I use these, mommy? I'm like, no, they're mine. You know, so we have that fight going on right now. They're my box of colored pencils. So you have to look at all these references. But as far as Persephone goes, that goddess book is phenomenal. I'll put a picture up of it for you. Probably be able to score it on thrift books, but now that I said that, thrift books will run out of it in like 20 minutes. Because every time I mention a book, they run right out of it. I don't know how this is happening. My one friend says, you told me to get it on thrift books, it's fucking gone. How about you tell me before you do a class? I'm like, sorry about that. So those are all great reference points. I'm looking at my shelf right now to see if there's anything else I recommend. I think those two are really a big aspect of it. Journey to the Dark Goddess is another one that really hits on Persephone a lot. Covers her voyage and Inanna's voyage. Both of them very much resembling each other. So, and I'm sure you can see the theme of Persephone in many modern television shows and romance novels. It's a very common theme. So, and when you're setting an altar to work with Persephone, I recommend pomegranate of some kind. trying to think what else I use. Dried flowers. I use a lot of dried flowers with her. Black and burgundy, not red, but that burgundy hue that's a little more regal. The deep crimson. Crimson's the color I'm looking for. You want that crimson burgundy gold outline color. And remember, she has one of the most iconic love stories in history of her and Hades. Everybody mistakes their duality, but they were deeply in love. She longed to be with him. Her days above ground were not her happiest. She found solace in her shadow. She liked her darkness. And there's no guilt in liking your darkness. It's okay to like your darkness as long as you keep yourself balanced. A lot of people think she is great to use with divination as well. If you are trying to do necromancy, divination, she and Hecate are probably one of the best choices to utilize, especially when you're trying to get through the veil to reach someone. A Persephone offering would be a great idea. So any other questions? And corn and grain, because you have to think about her core representation. I use Indian corn, the deep red Indian corn on my Persephone altar, and I put my candles in it. It's really weird because I do that at Thanksgiving for our family table. All my candles are stuck down in that. Yes, Tiana.
What was the name of the aspecting book?
Aspecting the Goddess. Let me grab it off the shelf for you. Hold on. You know, it's one of my favorites when all I have to do is step up and grab it because it's out where you can see it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And her books are just, I'm sorry, this one's Jane Meredith. Okay. Her books are so beautiful and they're all available on Audible. So if you're someone that likes to be read to,
yes,
those are great.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I like Audible. It's like bedtime stories for witches. I put it on and set my sleep timer. My husband goes, "What are you listening to?" I'm like, "I'm getting a bedtime story and that's the best." So, you know, we all have our own ways of doing things. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule today. I apologize that it took me till today to get it done. Ugh, it's going to be a week, I think. But I'm going to rest and get better and celebrate Hecate's night tonight. If any of you are interested in dedicating with Hecate tonight, I am going to put something in the event that happened last night. So you guys can go ahead and make a choice of that for yourselves. The 30th is also available. So if you just want to have a feeler tonight and put something out for her, feel free. You know, just be like, "Hey, how you doing? Here's a little offering for you and your puppies. I'll catch you later." And remember, this can be as simple as some olive oil, rosemary, and garlic rubbed on some bread for an offering. So get those biscuits out, those Grand's biscuits, throw them in the oven, bake them off, and roll them in the rosemary. And because I know you all have those spice racks that we get at the grocery store that like you spin them and there's tons of shit on them. They're like the witchcraft starter kit, by the way. That's what I always tell people when I meet with them as a mentor. They're like, "What herbs do I need?" I'm like, "Well, first thing you do is go on Amazon and buy yourself a spice rack. It'll come loaded with everything you need to start." And there's nothing that rosemary won't solve. So that's always rosemary and quartz, you know, they're the throwbacks. I carry those in my purse. Why? I don't know, but I do. And anybody that knows me carrying a purse is like rare and few far between. I carry a little Ipsy sack with all my stuff. I am not a purse girl. So thank you guys for joining. I will put this up and I'll get working on a small group for everybody. So you guys will be able to go in there and discuss your topics because I think it's really important you have a place to do that. And I'll share the books we talked about today in there. Might take me a little while. Be patient. I will get there. And thank you all for joining today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. You're fucking magic because you say so. Look, I'm magic and I feel like shit. So what does that tell you? Have a good one, guys. Happy the rest of the day. Happy Hecate's night. Leave out your offerings.
Thank you. Feel better.
Thank you. Have a good one, ladies.